start talking a bit about King Arthur. I mean, this is obviously a legendary character in every single way. In approaching it, I'm curious what you felt you had to be like, made sure that this part is an element of the character, and what part you kind of felt was up for interpretation.
We thought the whole thing was up for interpretation, frankly, just because there were moments of the story, not necessarily the character, that I felt like were benchmarks that had to be hit. I mean, you have to have him pulling the sword from the stone, you know. You have to have Camelot, you have to have, the Lady of the Lake and the Round Table and the knights and all of that. But in terms of our rendering the character himself, we just wanted to make sure that it was fresh and felt modern and had something to say that hadn't been said before. You know, we've all seen like the version of Arthur, like who's the noble man who goes on the journey to become the noble king. And we said we wanted to try to do the opposite of that. We wanted to make him a little bit of a motherfucker, you know, and he starts off and he's tough and he's streetwise and, you know, he's a little bit selfish, but at the center of it, he's got a good heart and, you know, but he's doing great for himself. He's got a lovely life worked out with his little crew in London, and then he gets presented with this massive destiny and doesn't really want it. But obviously, destiny, you don't get to choose your destiny. That's the whole. Destiny, right? That's why it's called destiny. And so it's not that simple. And so the story begins. But yeah, we just wanted. I mean, it really, I suppose it didn't take a huge amount to reach for this character, because as soon as I heard Guy Ritchie King Arthur, I sort of just got a flavor of what that was going to be, and so that's what we did.
Awesome.
Now, it's no secret, I don't know if you're aware of this, but people still really like Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, wondering, I have noticed that.
If you let the character of Jax and your legacy there influence your work in movies like this and everything you've done since, which has been loaded with awesome movies, but does Jax have any influence in that portrayal from Sons lingering?
I mean, it's interesting. You're playing a guy, like I've never had an experience of getting so close and deeply and so enmeshed with a character before, and I felt when I finished Sons that it was a real process to get back to center and trying to exorcise him out of my psyche for as much as possible, because I've been living with him for 8 years, you know, and trying to bring him to life. And so I started this movie maybe 3 months after I'd finished doing Sons, so I'm sure there's flavors of him in there. It certainly wasn't intentional, though, you know. I wanted to... Obviously, you want every character that you play to be as original and unique and fresh as possible, so you want to try to forget everything you've known. But that was also my education on Sons. I was like going to an Ivy League school, because we did that much work and so quickly, and having to solve problems. And you know, Kurt's writing, he doesn't shy away from high drama, so we swing for the fences in almost every scene. So, you know, we're shooting 4 or 5 massive scenes a day on that show. And so after 8 years of that, I felt like I graduated. But because my education came from that show, I'm sure I bring a lot of that into everything I do.